Our top focus as of now. Bao Fan, one of China's most high-profile tech deal makers, is believed to have gone missing. According to reports, Fan's company, China Renaissance, had stated that it has been unable to contact him for the past 2 days. The Beijing-based group reportedly said its executive committee would continue to manage the daily operations in Bao's absence. Bao founded China Renaissance back in 2005 after working at Morgan Stanley and Credit Suisse. He gradually turned the boutique advisory shop into one of China's top financial institutions. And according to Chinese media reports, the turmoil at the investment bank began in September when the group's president, Kong Lin, was taken away by Chinese authorities. Investors close to Bao said that his disappearance could be linked to Kong's detention. They hoped that the company's founder could be freed after providing information to authorities. Bao's disappearance makes him the latest in a long list of Chinese financial executives who have disappeared while being caught up in corruption-related investigations. Since coming to power a decade ago, China's President Xi Jinping has carried out an anti-corruption campaign to take down many high-ranking Chinese officials who have also tended to be his political rivals. There has not been any word yet from the Chinese authorities on the banker's disappearance. And for more analysis, we are now being joined by Andrew P Leong from Hong Kong. He is a political analyst. Andrew, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Now, one of China's most high-profile investment bankers has gone missing. This has raised concerns, naturally, of a potential crackdown on business and tech by the Chinese regime. How do you assess the situation?
Well, as you reported earlier, this is obviously connected with the anti-corruption campaign, bearing in mind that the president of the group, of which Bao Fan is a senior executive, was taken for questioning last September. And this comes as part of a train of high-profile prosecutions of various offenders of the anti-corruption law. And of course, corruption has been eating away at the legitimacy of the Chinese Communist Party. And that's why Xi Jinping has been determined to rid the party of all this cancer, which has been around for a long, long time. And don't forget that even under President Xi's predecessor, President Hu Jintao, some of his very senior aides were involved and later prosecuted for corruption. And then Xi Jinping make it a central point of his governance that the Communist Party must rid itself of all these cancerous cells of corruption so as to continue to be able to pursue the China dream, which is
but
the
I think the bigger
of
question, Andrew, is let's talk about Beijing's crackdown on its tech sector. It brings us back to that question. Why is Beijing going after one of its primary engines of growth?
Well, I think that there's a huge misunderstanding, the narrative. The fact that the Beijing is cracking down on the tech sector, on some tech sector leaders, doesn't mean that China is cracking down on the tech industry as a whole. Because as you said, the tech industry, of course, is the leader leading the growth of the Chinese economy. I mean, this is a fallacy, very common in Western understanding. It's just like that my father, for example, has got moustache, then all those who have moustache would be my father. This is as fallacious as that. And so the crackdown on the tech industry is because some of the tech giants are monopolizing the system, monopolizing the economy and taking away opportunities for the small guys. And under the common prosperity imperative, Beijing is attacking some of these big guys to make sure they do not monopolize the market, they do not have irregular practices. But the fact that they crack down on these high-profile cases doesn't mean that Beijing is cracking down on the tech sector as a whole.
Right. Andrew, thank you so much for all that analysis and thanks for joining us at this hour.
Thank you very much.
Moving on, a special grand jury in the US probing possible interference by the then President Donald Trump and his allies to overturn his 2020 election loss in Georgia has found no evidence of voter fraud. The jury believes that some of the witnesses may have lied under oath. Only 5 pages of the grand jury's report have been released up until now. The documents show that the jury has urged local prosecutors to press charges against witnesses who committed perjury. Among the 75 witnesses who gave sworn testimony were close Trump allies such as lawyer Rudy Giuliani, Republican U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham, and Republican Governor Brian Kemp.
I would be shocked if we did not see many indictments coming down from Fani Willis, the Fulton County District Attorney, including some of Trump's closest associates, such as former New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani. The big question, of course, about which this excerpt gave no indication, is whether or not the DA is intending to indict Donald Trump himself. From everything I know about the evidence in Georgia, Donald Trump could be charged with multiple counts of election interference, as well as some non-election crimes, such as making false statements and witness tampering.
Nobody has been charged with perjury or named yet, but the report recommended that prosecutors consider appropriate charges, as a majority of the grand jury believes that perjury may have been committed by one or more witnesses testifying before it. On the 2nd of January 2021, Trump called Georgia's top election official, asking him to find more votes to overturn the Democratic President Joe Biden's election victory. A recording of the phone call was leaked by American media. The Georgia investigation is one of several threatening Trump, including separate U.S. Justice Department inquiries into his retention of classified materials after leaving office, as well as his efforts to invalidate the 2020 election results. The special grand jury was not empowered to issue indictments and was only asked to give recommendations, and the decision on whether to press charges ultimately rests with the district attorney. WION World is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news updates on the move.